Welcome to the Golden State Media Concepts Beauty Tips Podcast, the show that gives you advice on everything from hair to fashion to skincare products. We'll talk about the latest trends in makeup, hairstyles, and anti-aging remedies. And we'll cover all of the newest fashion trends. If you have an interest in or questions about the beauty and fashion trends that might work best for you, the Golden State Media Concepts Beauty Tips Podcast has got you covered.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the GSMC Beauty Tips Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I am your host, Shear Stud. Thank you guys so much for listening. In today's episode, this episode is going to be dedicated to the boys. It's going to be for the men who are listening and want to zhuzh up their life a little bit for their beauty. Does that make any sense? So first, before we get into all of the fun stuff, I'm, of course, going to talk about how my week was because I'm narcissistic and I love to talk about myself. But also, I'm recording a podcast. I can hear my own voice, and it's everything. Being able to hear myself talk, I originally thought that I was going to hate it, but it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. Anyways, so we're going to talk about how my week was, and then after the first break, I'm going to go into 5 basic grooming tips that really all men should be following. I don't think there's anything on this list that's crazy. Then after that, we are going to talk about eyebrows. Yes, Gerald, I am looking at you. Those caterpillars that you have on your face, we're going to tame them. We're going to make them beautiful and just opulent and supple. It's going to be fabulous. Then to end the show, we're going to talk about probably the best thing that has ever been invented, the sheet mask. The sheet mask, I could go on and on about the sheet mask, but I will save that till the end. So jumping right into how my week was. Listen, girl, I'm going to be honest with you. It has not been the best week in the Shear Stud mind. And I briefly touched on this last week that, we're going through, by we, I mean me, going through a little bit of a rough patch in life right now. Just a lot of things seem to be happening that are kind of out of my control, right? I'm sure everybody's been there where it just feels like things are happening around you, but you don't have any input in those things, right? It's unfortunate. However, I'm here to learn. I'm learning from everything that's happening, and I think that's what's important. So I told you guys last time that I recently got into tarot cards. Hear me out. Don't click away. This is not a witch podcast. However, that would be everything. That sounds so much fun to just do tarot card readings, but as a podcast. Anyways, I recently got into tarot cards, right? And I was doing my first reading on myself. And my roommate was there, and she can confirm that all of this is true. And I started pulling cards, and it started this was maybe 3 weeks ago. And the cards are telling me that change is going to start happening. I'm going to be transitioning into a new period of my life. It's going to be great. I just have to be careful about being in my own way, which I tend to do a lot. Hi. And so at first I saw those cards and I was okay, should I change my hair color or something? I don't really understand how this all works. Is it just going to happen on its own? Do I have to actively work towards whatever change the universe is trying to tell me, right? And I initially thought that the change that it was referring to was me changing my major. Because for me, when I changed my major, it was a big deal internally for me. It was very much like a come to Jesus moment where I just got this wind of clarity and just realized like the major that I chose initially is not for me. And I know a lot of people probably struggle with that, and use me as an example. Like, if you want to change your major and you want to do something completely different than what you originally thought, who cares? Just do it. At the end of the day, it's your life, right? So if anybody has literally anything to say, they can like literally go mind their business, because they have their own life to worry about. They have struggles, they have fears, they have dreams that they want to achieve. So by them like giving their 2 cents into like what you're doing is completely unnecessary and uncalled for. Anyways, so I thought the initial change that the tarot cards was telling me about had to do with me changing my major. And I was like, okay, like that's cool. Like it guessed that I changed my major. Well, once I decided to change my major, I was laid off from my job. It wasn't messy. There was no drama. It was not like that. And it was a mutual understanding, and it was just not my time with this company anymore. Love the company, nothing against them. And so then I started a new job in the same field, right? And so then I had some family drama, like some family things happen, and I ended up taking I took 2 weeks off after my first week of work, right? So I'm sure you can imagine like how that looked, right? But I was hoping like my work would understand kind of like that I was like going through something. Like my work understood like what was happening with my family. And I go back to work this past Monday, and I'm 2 hours into the workday, and then they laid me off. Like different company, they laid me off. I was fully gagged, and it really like got me thinking. Because then, when they laid me off, I started to think like, what the hell am I gonna do now? Because I really don't want to work in this field anymore, because it was for my old major. So like, now what? Like now what do I do? And after much reflecting, I was talking with my mom, because mom knows best, and I feel like I understand what's next, and I understand what I need to do to be where I want to be in the future. Does that make sense? Like I said, it's been a very full circle moment, a whole lot of realizations, right? I'm 20 years old, turning into an adult, am an adult, whatever, right? It's all happening. And so I decided that I'm going to take time off of work, and like, obviously I'm still going to look for work. I'm not just going to like, you know what I mean? But I'm really just going to use this moment to like focus on school, and like I have a list of things that I want to work on about myself, whether it's like learning to love myself more, or how I want to be loved, or how I want to love, or like how I love somebody else, right? Like I have a list of things that I want to learn by a certain amount of time. I haven't put a date on it yet, because I don't know, that seems weird. And I feel like I understand now kind of where my life is going, and like how like the universe's plan for me. Does that make any sense? And so part of this, the reason for me telling you guys this story is because going back to the tarot cards, I literally changed my major. So this is the order of events as a summary. I changed my major, did a tarot card reading, lost 2 jobs, and now I'm here. So, I mean, that sounds like a change to me. And specifically for the tarot cards, like, I can't remember, like, the exact wording, but it said, like, there's going to be a change in my my career, my social life, and my academics. I said, girl, we already got the career and the academics. what's next? Like, what is life going to throw at me next that my social life changes, right? And so then I started thinking about my social life, right? It's COVID. I'm not really going anywhere. I'm not really leaving the house much. And you shouldn't either, at least not with a mask. And I realized that, like, okay, I'm not working. If I just stay home all day, that's going to send me into, like, a deep, dark depression, which I don't want because I am all about self-love, right? Which I've told you guys many times. If you can't love yourself, how in the hell are you going to love anybody else? It's a quote from RuPaul. My therapist really likes that quote too. Anyways, and so I started thinking, like, what are some productive ways that I can, like, learn to love myself and, like, get out of the house, right? And then my bestie texted me. She was like, hey, are you busy? Like, later today at, like, 5? And I said, no, not really. Just wallowing in some sadness. Why? What's up? She said, let's go to the gym. I said, girl, that sounds like a horrible idea. I do not want to go to the gym. The hell am I going to do at the gym? And I suck it up and I went to the gym. And I hadn't been to the gym in like 2 years, maybe like a year and a half. I'm in my 3rd year of college and I went 5 days a week my first year, I think. And after that, I hadn't been to the gym since. And so I was like, well, what gym are we going to go to? Like, how is this all going to work, right? And she was like, oh, well, like, the gym at school is, like, open. So, like, they have a bunch of, like, workout equipment outside. And I said, oh, period. Okay, so let's do it. So I went to the gym with her for the first time. Girl, let me tell you, going to the gym after you have not gone for a really long time is scary because I was so scared that I was going to overwork myself, right? I was scared that I was going to, like, not stretch enough beforehand. And I was like, I don't know, I just thought I was going to, like, mess up my body, right? Which did end up happening, but I'm fine now. And so since then, I was like, you know what? I think this is step 1. I think going to the gym and finally giving myself the opportunity to like, look how I want to look and, like, be how I want to be. Like, I think going to the gym and understanding my body and working out and health and fitness, I think this is step 1. And the reason why I'm telling you this is partially because I went to the gym today, like, before this, and had pre-workout for the first time. So I'm, like, all over the place. But the reason why I'm telling you this is because, like I said, this is step 1. And I really do kind of want this podcast to almost be like a journal for myself too. Because believe it or not, like, this is very therapeutic for me. Like, I'm literally just sitting in a room, just, like, talking, right? And it really does help for me to, like, organize my thoughts and really understand what's happening. It's a great reflection period. If you want to start a podcast, I highly recommend you do it. And so because I want to use this as kind of like a journal, I want you guys to be in on the ride. I want you guys to be informed of the revelations that I'm having when they happen. Because I think too many times have I heard that, like, oh, you're going to go through a hard time. Like, life is just hard. Ooh, okay, I get it. Life sucks. But, like, what am I supposed to do about it? Am I just supposed to, like, bite the bullet and just, like, be unhappy? Like, I feel like nobody really tells you. Well, I guess because it's different for each person. But I feel like there are some things when it comes to being happy that kind of apply to everybody. Like there are certain things that like everybody could do to make themselves happy. And I feel like it's not talked about enough. I feel like just, like I said, nobody tells you how to be happy. People are just like, oh, life is so hard and like, whatever, right? But I'm not saying I'm perfect, and I'm not saying this is going to be an easy ride for me. However, regardless of that, I think it would be fun for us girls to like get to know each other and like go through this transition period together. And even though this segment is only like, it's the first 15 minutes, right? I think this time that you and I have together personally and intimately, I think it's really beneficial for everybody because you can kind of hear what I'm saying and understand how I'm making my choices based on how I feel. So then you can kind of take that same logic, if that makes any sense, and kind of apply it to whatever situation you may be facing. Thank you so much for listening, you guys. Stay tuned for After the Break, where I will go through 5 basic grooming tips. And then stay tuned till the end of the show, where I will be telling you anything and everything you need to know about the sheet mask.
The GSMC Life and Happiness podcast takes you on a journey of exploration. We'll discuss tried and true methods alongside the latest trends of how to best live your life to its fullest and happiest. From psychology to meditation, science to self-help books, the GSMC Life and Happiness podcast will help you to discover what makes you happy and how you can live life being the best you possible. Download the GSMC Life and Happiness podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, or anywhere you find podcasts. Just type GSMC in the search bar.
Hey y'all, welcome back. So we had a little intimate moment together before the break, and it was really vulnerable. So please don't send me any hate because I emotionally can't handle it. Anyways, so for the remainder of this episode, I want to talk to the men who are listening. If you have a husband, you have a boyfriend, significant other, partner, non-binary person who you hang out with, this can really apply to anybody. I think when it comes to male beauty, I think I don't even know where to start. There are so many things wrong with it. Like, taking care of yourself and like looking presentable is not a feminine trait. And like, call me ignorant, but I don't understand. Like, I don't understand how people are able to make that connection. Like, if a guy uses a face mask meaning like a skincare one, not the COVID protection. Like if a guy uses a sheet mask and he does his eyebrows, he's gay or he's feminine or he's less masculine because of it. I just never understood that. And growing up for a long time, I always thought the same thing. I thought that some of those things were just for women. And I remember a specific example. Mom, if you're listening, I'm going to put you on blast for a second. I don't remember what I said, but I essentially was like, I want to paint my nails. Like, I think it would be really cool to like paint my nails. I want to say I was like 15. I was like, I think it would be really cool to paint my nails like a fun color so I can go to school and like have everybody gagged, gooped, and pooped. And then she goes, what? Are you gay? And this was before I was out of the closet. So I was like, oh my God, what? me? No, right? And I think that's such a backwards way of thinking. I just don't get it. Because at what point is something hygienic versus, cosmetic? You know what I mean? Because I would argue that, getting, a dry manicure or getting your eyebrows done or getting a facial, I would say that all of those things are hygienic. Okay, maybe not a facial. That's probably cosmetic. But, getting your eyebrows done, I would say that's hygienic. Taking a shower is hygienic. If I take a shower, well, not me specifically. If a straight guy takes a shower, is he gay because of it? Because he's taking care of himself? Because he cares about his appearance? I'm getting angry talking about this. That is not the point of this. So, I am going to be giving you guys 5 basic grooming tips. Now, when it comes to male beauty, I know that a lot of men don't want a routine that involves so much work. And I get it. I'm not guilty of that. You think I want a 10-step night routine for my skin? I don't. However, sometimes I do. Anyways, so let's start with the 5 basic grooming tips. The first one, I need you to listen very carefully. When to cut your nails. I don't, it's so frustrating and honestly kind of gross when I'm say I'm out on a date with somebody, which hasn't happened in a while. Say I'm out on a date with somebody and they I don't know, they do something with their hands so that I can see their fingernails, and imagine they just had really long, dirty fingernails. It literally makes my skin crawl. I hate it. So, I'm not here to shame you. If your nails are disgusting, I'm going to show you how to fix it. So, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take a shower. It's not gay to take a shower. Get in the shower and please clean yourself. You're going to get in the shower. Now, you're going to take a shower how you normally do. And you can either do the second step in the shower or once you get out of the shower. You are going to clip your nails. So the way that I usually gauge where, how far to cut my nails is I just cut off, all of the white. So you know how, the tips of your nails are, naturally a different color than the rest? Cut it off. That's what I do. So what you're going to do is you're going to clip your nails, and you can choose the desired length. Personally, I think, if you hold your hand up, your palm facing you, and if you can see the tip of your nails, behind your fingers, I would say that that's too long. I would say you would either want it flush with your finger, if not lower. So what you'll do is you'll cut your nails with the nail clippers, and then you're going to file them. Because when you use a nail clipper, it leaves really sharp and jagged edges. And I find that it'll get caught. My hands are in my pockets. I will fully unthread my pocket because of the corner of my thumb. Right? So you'll shower. You'll clip your nails, either in the shower or out of the shower. You're going to file them. You can file them in whatever desired shape you want. I personally just go with whatever the natural shape of my nail is. I would say for mine, they're all relatively rounded, except for some of them. That's weird. Anyways, so once you file your nails, that's pretty much it. You could take the extra step of putting cuticle oil on your cuticles. And it's just the one that I have, it's a pen. So you twist the end of it, and then it's a paintbrush on the other end. So you paint on the oil. And it just makes sure that your skin around your fingers is hydrated. It helps with any hangnails that you get, or just keeps your fingers looking not disgusting. The next tip, the next tip that I want to give you is about your hair. I'm specifically talking about the hair on your head. We will get to beards later. When you wash your hair, it is not 100% necessary to wash your hair every single day. And I say it like this because there are a few exceptions. If you have just really oily hair, then you have to like kind of like wean yourself off of it, like slowly shampoo less frequently. And so you can wash your hair with water, right? Which is sometimes what I do. I won't always use shampoo. I'll just rinse my hair out with water and like whatever, right? And I find that it helps. Like, so I have really, like, my scalp is really dry, or it's not constantly dry, but it can get really dry. It'll get dry and I'll start to get like dandruff flakes and like dead skin flakes in my hair. It's not cute. Okay. My hair will get frizzy. I have a whole lot of hair, right? So I get flyaways. My hair will get frizzy, and it's just hard to manage if I shampoo too frequently. If you shampoo your hair, say, every other day, and then move to every 3 days, and then just slowly elongate that period of time, you'll start to notice that your hair will start to look healthier because you're not stripping it of all of the oils that it's making. And you'll start to find that your hair is not as dry. You don't have as many flakes. It's not as frizzy, and it's a lot easier to manage. Right now, I'm in the process of like experimenting with my hair. I'm like trying to grow it out, but like I kind of hate it right now. And the problem that I'm facing is that I don't know what to do with my hair. It's hard to manage. It doesn't want to do anything other than what it's doing now, which is literally just sitting there. And I think with this tip specifically, I should probably take some notes. Well, I do have notes. I take notes. Anyways, I think that this step is one specifically that I should be applying more, because I shower every single day, shampoo my hair every single day, because if I don't, I literally like, my hair is slick flat to my head. It looks like somebody just got a bunch of like hair gel and just flattened my head. And I think what I need to do, and it's what I told you to do, is to slowly stop shampooing your hair so frequently. And just rinse your hair out with water when you're in the shower, and it should be fine. The next tip is one that I really didn't think of until like somebody brought it up to me like in conversation. They were like, oh, well, why don't you ever do this? And I said, hold on. That's a good idea. I'm going to write that down. It is to shave the back of your neck. Hear me out. Listen. If you do it like once a week, like your hair will look more clean. It will literally look like you just got a haircut. And you know that feeling when you just get a haircut and like your barber lines you up and you're just untouchable. Imagine having that moment multiple times a week. Sign me up. I'm absolutely here for it. And one thing that I would also recommend, if you don't want to shave like the back of your neck, meaning like the back of your head and like your sideburns or whatever, right? I think another thing that you could do is like kind of like at like the nape of your neck, like kind of just clean it up there a little bit, especially if you haven't gotten a haircut in a while. I know I face this problem because I wait like 6 weeks to get a haircut because I'm lazy. I find that like the back of my head, it starts to get like, I don't know, it just doesn't look right. Like from the front, like I can see it like curling. I don't have curly hair. Why is my hair curling, right? And I do have a product recommendation for you. This product is going to be the Philips One Blade. This is not sponsored. I own this product and I use it frequently. I really like this shaver because it's electric, and it also has different attachments. Like there's 1, 3, and like 5 millimeters, I think. And it's so that you can cut your hair to whatever length you want. And I think that it's definitely something that I will be doing. Now, the next tip. I said I was going to talk to you guys about beards. Let's get into it. So, if you have a beard, period, we love to see it. I personally do not have one. I want one. I am just not able to right now. Hopefully at some point in the future, like, I can just, like, be able to grow a beard. You know what I think they make? I think they make, like, lace front beards. Almost like a wig. But, like, it's a beard. That's kind of everything. I should get one. That would be so much fun. Imagine me with, like, a fake beard. That's everything. Okay, if you have a beard, and it's a real beard, it's grown out of your face and everything, you need to treat that beard as if it's the hair on your head. You're going to shampoo it. You're going to condition it. You're not going to shampoo it that frequently. Why? Because you're not shampooing your hair that frequently. And once you shampoo and you condition it, you rinse it out, right? I would recommend you get a wide tooth comb. Wide tooth comb, all that means is that, like, the little prongs are just spaced further apart. You can literally get them anywhere. Literally any drugstore. You can probably find them at the gas station. Inside the gas station, not, like, outside, because that's gross. So you're going to take a wide tooth comb and you're just going to brush through your beard, and it'll help get out any tangles. It'll help shape your beard a little bit. And if you do enjoy, like, kind of adjusting the shape of your beard, I don't really know how beards work, if you can really shape them like that, and you just want to, like, sculpt it a little bit more, then I would recommend a beard oil. Beard oil really, really helps, like, hydrate the skin and really does help you style it. Now, the last grooming tip that I want to talk to you about is fragrance. You heard me. Fragrance. Are you sitting there on your couch thinking, oh, I could probably learn something about this because my cologne game is kind of weak. I think I use too much or I use too little. Well, if you're related to any of those statements, fear not. I'm here to tell you, and I'm going to help you to be the best you that you could be. That is so cheesy. I'm never going to say that again. Okay, so when you are wearing cologne, if you wear the same cologne, you start to get nose blind to it, right? You start to not really realize how strong it is after a certain amount of time. And because of that, you'll start to just put more and more on. And then eventually you just don't realize how much you're wearing because you can't smell it anymore. So what I do is, and I find that this works like 99% of the time, I will do one spray. I will do it on my wrist, on my neck, and on my chest. You do one spray and you do it like a foot away, right? And by doing it on your skin and not your clothes, it allows the warmth of your skin to enhance the smell, right? Make it a little bit stronger. Say you have a cologne that doesn't smell that strong. That does not mean you spray more. I don't care how strong the scent is. I don't care what the scent is. You do one on the wrist, one on the neck, and one on the chest. The only thing that changes when it comes to using a weaker cologne is how frequently you reapply it. So say you have a weaker cologne, you'll want to reapply maybe every like 3 hours, 2.5 maybe. Just, again, one to the wrist, neck, chest. That's all you need. And if you have a stronger cologne, you'll obviously do it less frequently, maybe every 5 hours, every 6 hours. However you see fit, because not all colognes are made equal. So those were my 5 basic grooming tips. Stay tuned for after the break, where I will be talking to you about eyebrows. And not the drag eyebrows, not where I glue them down and reshape them and redraw them. I'm talking about natural brows, boy brows, if you will. So stay tuned.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Welcome back, everybody, to the GSMC Beauty Tips Podcast. Before the break, I talked to the men and anybody else who was listening about their grooming habits. Long nails, don't want to see it. Dry hair, keep it away from me. Unkept beards, I'm not having it. However, now I want to talk to you guys about eyebrows. Everybody has them. Some people shave them off. Every now and then, I will get the urge to shave off my eyebrows. And sometimes the urge is it's too much sometimes. And now that I'm not working, I think like now is probably the time. If I'm going to shave off my eyebrows, I should probably do it now. Anyways, if I do, you guys will see it on Instagram. Give us a follow, GSMC_beauty. Anyways, getting into the eyebrows. When it comes to eyebrows, there are many different ways that you can go about removing the hair. I have experience in 3 of the methods that I will be explaining today. And every method has its pros and cons. Certain people prefer threading, while some prefer waxing. It's really personal preference, but I will make sure to break it down in as much detail as possible for you, because there is nothing worse than somebody who explains something in a way that is like they just didn't explain it enough, and they assume that I know something when I really don't. So because of that, I really do like to go through the basics first before we get into like the complex stuff. That's why when it comes to makeup, I just briefly talked about foundation, because girl, when we get to eyeshadow, oh my God, I am so excited for that, because I love eyeshadow so much. So the first method that I would like to talk to you guys about is your typical trim. This is something you can do at home. It is very easy. It's very simple. It doesn't require a lot of time, and anybody could do it. You can do it for somebody else. You can do it for yourself. Totally fine. The trimming method involves taking a comb, and you will want to go to the bottom of your brow, closest to like your eyeball, and push all of your hairs up, like up towards your hairline, like to your forehead. And you'll kind of want to use your finger a little bit to kind of hold those hairs in place so that they don't try and like fall back down, right? And you'll get teeny tiny little pair of scissors. They make scissors specifically for like makeup and like cosmetic things like that. And so you could use those scissors. You could use a regular pair of scissors too. I find that with the smaller scissors, it's a lot easier to control them, because when you're working with your eyebrows, for any of these methods, you are taking a little bit off each time, because you can remove the hair and you can keep removing hair, but you cannot add hair back. And because of that, you want to work in teeny tiny little sections, so that way if you do mess something up, it's just a tiny little section, and when the rest are done correctly, you won't even see the mistake. So what you'll do, like I said, is you'll comb your eyebrows up, hold them in place with your finger, and take your scissors, whatever size they may be, and locate your natural brow line. Your natural brow line is relatively easy to find if you just look in a mirror, kind of look closely. You may notice like your brow line is a little bit more defined. It's kind of like where your brow bone is, a little bit like right there. So you'll locate your brow bone. You will align your scissors with the front. So we're going to be working from like the middle of our face going out. And for this example, like in person, I'm like gesturing to like my left eyebrow. So what do we have so far? Comb the brows, press them in place, locate the brow bone or your natural brow line, excuse me. Then you'll take your scissors and you will very slowly start to trim at your brow line so that you're cutting anything that goes past it. What this will do is make sure that when you like brush your eyebrows back into place, they're not too long, they don't look messy, they just look neat. Now, I like this method because it focuses on cleanup rather than shaping, right? I noticed that when it comes to more feminine brows, that those involve cleaning as well as shaping, whether it's defining the arch or tapering the front or like sharpening the end or whatever, right? Some of these methods do allow for you to pick whether you're cleaning or shaping. Some of them you don't really have an option. You kind of just have to do it. For trimming specifically, like I said, this one is really good for cleaning. The next method is plucking. I personally do not like this method. I think it's time-consuming. I think it's painful, and it's repetitive because I have said this once, and I will say it again. I'm a brown man. I have thick eyebrows, right? So to pluck my eyebrows, it's gonna take forever. And I don't have the patience, I don't have the arm strength, and nobody else is willing to do it. And I think, like, out of all of these, methods that I'm telling you, plucking is probably my least favorite. However, I'm going to tell you how to do it anyways, because I do think it's an essential skill to have, to be able to pluck your eyebrows. So first, what you're going to want to do is take one finger, or both pointer fingers if you want to, and just put them on the side of your nose. And you'll kind of notice that it lines up with like the start of like the main portion of your brow, right? So what you'll do is everything inside that space, remove it. You can either pluck it, I really don't care. You can take a razor, like one that you would use to shave your face, and just go across a couple times, right? Don't go too far. Don't shave off like the front end of your eyebrows. Just do the space in between the tips of your fingers. Nobody wants a unibrow. What else? I don't need to say anything else about that. Nobody wants a unibrow. So once you have plucked the middle and you've cleaned it up a little bit, so you have 2 eyebrows. Next, what you'll do is I recommend getting a mirror, like a small handheld mirror that is magnified, right? So you put it really close and you can like really see in there. I would recommend getting one of those because it just makes it a lot easier to get those really, really tiny, tiny hairs. So what you'll do, hold up the mirror. You'll take your tweezers and you will just clean right below your brow and right above your brow. Just, you're not looking to reshape. Remember that. You are not changing the shape of your brows. You are just cleaning them up. And when you pluck away the stray hairs on the top and the bottom, just overall gives it a more clean appearance. It makes you look a little bit more put together. Lets people know that like you're here for business. You're not here to mess around. You mean business, right? And always remember when you're plucking your eyebrows to pull it fast. You don't want to like sit there and like slowly pull it out, that literally sounds horrible because you're ripping hair out of your face. Like, it's not going to be painless, right? You're always going to want to pull fast, and you're always going to pull in the direction that your hair grows. Your eyebrow hair, obviously. So say, like, you're doing your left eyebrow. I noticed that the front of my eyebrow, the hairs naturally go straight up. So if I were to be plucking that part of my face, I would grab the hair with my tweezers and really quickly pull up, because that's the way that the hair naturally wants to go. The easiest time to do your eyebrows and to pluck your eyebrows is right after a shower. Because after a shower, your skin is nice and soft. It's nice and moist. Sorry if you don't like that word. I really do. It makes it a lot easier to pull out those hairs. It doesn't hurt as much, and it's just more efficient. The next method is going to be waxing. I would say out of all of the steps, this one is definitely my top 2. And spoiler alert, it's the 2. It's not the first one. I'm going to say it again. You're cleaning, not shaping. However, for waxing, you do have options. You are able to clean, but you are also able to shape. Waxing is, in terms of pain, different for everybody. The very first time I ever got my eyebrows done, fun little story time, I went to an Ulta because I didn't know where else to go. And it was the same person who did my cousin's eyebrows. So I was like, her eyebrows always look sickening, so let's go. Hopefully this lady can, like, fix me right up. And I go there, and I didn't really know what to expect, because I didn't really know what kind of, like, I didn't really know what was going to happen. And so I get there, and I, like, sit down in the chair. I'm like, hey, girl, how you doing? We're just talking, right? And she starts to, like, clean, like, the area around my eyebrows with, like, if I had to take a guess, it was probably, like, a cotton pad and, like, some alcohol, right? And I remember when she first did that, I was like, I don't understand. I was like, what is that for? And after doing extensive research, not that much research, the reason why you want to clean your eyebrow off with, like, an alcohol wipe, or not a wipe, but like a cotton pad, is because the wax will not stick if your skin is oily. And I know that this also applies for, like, waxing your legs, arms, anything else that you wax, right? And when you're waxing for your eyebrows, you have to be very careful, because if you're doing, like, a wax strip, the second you put that thing on, whatever's underneath it is coming off. If you pull it hard enough, it's going to come off. So you want to be very careful. And like I said, you're going to work in small sections. You're going to want to do the smallest section at a time. If it takes you all day, so be it. You will slowly get faster. So, to walk you through the steps of waxing your eyebrows. Step 1, clean the brows. Put a little isopropyl alcohol. Maybe nothing that's, like, too high in percentage. Maybe, like, 50 to, like, 70, I guess. And put it on a cotton pad and, like, clean your eyebrow. Next, what you'll do is take a, like, whether it's, like, baby powder or, I don't know. I really don't care. Take, like, some type of powder. It could be, like, translucent powder, setting powder, or whatever. And put it, like, on your eyebrow, right? So that it can really just absorb any moisture that is left on your skin. Because, remember, the wax will not stick. If your face is oily, if it's, like, there's any type of moisture on your face, like, it's just not it. Right? So then once you do that, the powder, you're going to brush off any of the excess. Then you are going to get the eyebrow strip and in a small section, put it where you have a bulk of hair that you do not want anymore. Right? And so then what you're going to do is you're going to put the strip on your eyebrow, and then you're going to rub the place that it's in. And so what this is doing is heating up the wax via friction. Hello, I took physics. And so you're going to rub the wax strip so that the wax melts a little bit and it's able to like really grip the hair that's on your face, right? And then you're going to wait a little bit for it to like really grasp those hairs and like not be sticky anymore, because the last thing you want to do is rip off the strip and then you're just left with like a bunch of wax like in your eyebrows and it's just like a disgusting mess, right? Have no fears, because if that does happen, what I would recommend is you take anything that's like oil-based, whether it's coconut oil, vitamin E oil, avocado oil, I really don't care. Using that oil in like that section of your face will help to loosen the wax and hopefully you'll be able to get it out. I cannot make any promises. Just be really careful. The last step, or the last and my favorite method, is threading. Threading is very painful. Well, not very painful. It's relatively painful. Somebody else, I would recommend that you don't do it to yourself. Like you have somebody else do it. And it'll clean you up and it'll give you shape. So if you're looking for a method that's like for something all around, I would recommend threading. Stay tuned for after the break, where I will go through what a sheet mask is for all of my guys out there who just want a little bit something more for their skin. Stay tuned.
Do you want to be healthier, yet you just don't know what to do? All these shows telling you this and that, but nothing seems to work. Well, listen close. Golden State Media Concepts has got something great for you. The Health and Wellness Podcast, dedicated to workout trends, healthy eating habits, diet, and everything about healthy living. Join us in our banters as we help you not just live life to the fullest, but live it to the healthiest.
Hey y'all, welcome back. I can't believe we're already at the last 15 minutes of the show. I feel like we've just been sitting here hanging out with the goyles and just like hanging out, right? That's fun. So I want to talk to everybody about the sheet mask. Now, I have quite a bit of experience when it comes to a sheet mask. I unfortunately went through a phase in my life where I was constantly using a sheet mask. Like, I want to say it was maybe freshman year of high school. I was just constantly using a sheet mask. And as a 14-year-old, I didn't have any money, right? And eventually, God, this is so gross. Eventually, what I would start doing is like reusing the sheet mask. And like once I finished using one, I would put it in like an airtight Ziploc bag so it didn't like dry out. Personally, I think that's gross, but I can also understand why I did it. Because, you know what? Let's first start with what is a sheet mask before I get into this story. So a sheet mask is a piece of fabric that is there's like cutouts for your eyes and for your nose and for your mouth, right? It's typically either going to be made out of paper or like some of them are made out of like this gel like material. And it is just drenched. And when I say drenched, girl, they are dripping in serum that is just full of nutrients and just has so much good stuff for your skin, right? And I really like sheet masks because you you just put it on and you literally don't have to worry about it. You can go about your day, maybe not like go out in public, but like brush your teeth. You can cook breakfast. You can wash the dishes. You can like chit chat with the dog or something, right? And the best part, I think, about a sheet mask is when you take it off, you don't have to like wash your face. Like the whole point is that like whatever product you put on like stays there. So, okay. So when it comes to using a sheet mask, going back to the story, because they're drenched in whatever serum the sheet mask is made for, like there's so much on there, and there is absolutely no way that in like one sitting my skin is going to dry out the entire sheet mask. There's no way. So I would reuse them because I'm not going to let all that product go to waste. And I think since then, I'm not a frequent user of sheet masks. However, I still love them. They hold a special place in my heart. I personally, when it comes to like any type of like mask, I am obsessed with like clay masks, right? I feel like they just really suck the toxins out of my skin. I take it off and I'm instantly just a less toxic person. I'm just kidding. I'm always toxic. Anyways, I'm going to tell you guys about how to use a sheet mask, the proper way to use them. Because believe it or not, like I was talking to some people and they don't really know how these work. So if you don't know how these work, this is for you. So before putting on a sheet mask, clean your face. You're going to wash your face with something oil-based. Because when you wash your face with something oil-based, the oils in the face wash will break down whatever dirt, grime, pollution that you have in your skin. It'll get rid of it and it'll leave you with this like nice, clean, like blank slate, right? And so then next what you'll do is you'll take your drenched sheet mask and you will apply it from the forehead down. The reason why you want to do this is because of the cutouts. So there's cutout for your eyes, for your nose, and for your mouth. Out of all of those, you kind of need your eyes, right? So when you put them from top down, it allows you to line up the eyes, and then from there, it'll be easier to kind of place it on the nose and then for the mouth, right? Because a lot of sheet masks are one size fits all. However, not everybody's face is the same. So it does kind of take some tweaking, but the easiest way to do it is to go from like your forehead down. Next, what you're going to want to do is the best part. You'll leave it on for like 10 to 20 minutes. And if you're like me and you forget, it'll be like 45 minutes. But then at that point, like your skin has already absorbed everything and is literally just sitting on your face now, just like drying out. And so you'll leave it on for like 10 to 20 minutes. You can do whatever you want, walk the dog, play with the kids, argue with the wife. I really don't care. Next, after the 20 minutes, you're going to take it off. Doesn't matter how you take it off. You take it from the corner, you take it from the top. You'll take it off, and it is very important. I didn't know this the first time, is you do not rinse your face after. Because you just put a bunch of good nutrients in your face. Why are you going to take them off? The best thing that you can do is once you take it off, don't rinse your face. Just let it dry. Just give it time to dry, right? Because eventually it will. And your skin will be well nourished and just thriving. Now, typically, so when it comes to skincare, my typical procedure for like a lazy day, right, is face wash. And then I'll do like some sort of serum, whether it's the ordinary one or I think I have one from this brand called like Polish Choice or something, like whatever. I'll put one of those on and then I will moisturize. This is not any different. After you use a sheet mask, once you take it off and you let it dry completely, like to the touch, like your skin doesn't feel wet. It doesn't feel like tacky or anything. Like it feels dry and just ready for moisturizer. You are going to moisturize your face because if you have dry skin, your skin is going to crack, and going in with a moisturizer afterwards really helps to lock in and just seal all that goodness into your skin, right? If you have oily skin, similar to mine, what you're going to want to do is once you do the sheet mask or put on whatever serum, use the lightest amount of moisturizer. So based on however dry your skin is, that'll dictate however much moisturizer you use, like normal. Using a sheet mask is not an exception. When it comes to how often you want to use a sheet mask, this is the best part. Ready? I'm gonna pause for effect to build suspense. Okay, ready? You can use them as many times as you want. I know, gag, right? Because typically, if something is good for you, you do it too much, then it's not good for you. Now, I haven't done too much research about the negative side effects using a sheet mask, so I'm going to assume that there's none, right? You can use a sheet mask. I personally would recommend 3 times a week. I think to do it every single day is a little excessive, and the last thing you want to do is overwhelm your skin. Because I don't know about you, but I really do think that like certain parts of my body are able to feel emotions differently than I do, right? That might just be me. Like I feel like my hands can like be having a sad day, right? Because I don't want my skin to be overwhelmed, right? So you can either do it 3 times a week, twice a week. You could do it every day if you want to. However, these are, depending on the type of sheet mask, it may be a little pricey. The cheapest that I've seen is like $5. You can typically find like the $5 ones at my local Target. It's by it's in the makeup section, and it's like on a display thing in the middle next to like the foundation and stuff. Does that make sense? This Target is set up weird. Anyways, the cheapest ones that you can find are going to be like anywhere from like $5 to like $7. However, you can also get ones that are a little bit more luxurious, and those range from like, I don't know, maybe like $15 to $20, which for a single-use sheet mask, I think that's kind of ridiculous. Unless it's going to solve all my problems and like cure my depression, that's absolutely not worth it, right? Unless it's like use it multiple times. But like knowing me, even if it's one-time use only, if there is still serum on that mask, I'm going to keep using it. Some of the benefits for using a sheet mask are helps with dryness. If you notice that you have dry skin, put a sheet mask on. Those little nutrients will help you more than you could imagine. Not only does it help with dryness, it'll brighten your skin. You'll be glowing. It'll be like you're pregnant, which I love. Oh, wait, this is for men. It'll be like you were working in the sun for a really long time and your skin is just glistening. I don't know. It's fast acting because you put the mask on your face, then your skin absorbs it pretty much right away. Your skin obviously will only take however much it needs, and you take it off. And they're relatively cheap. Like the cheapest ones are pretty cheap. And I think just the sheet mask overall, 10 out of 10. I love it. Now, I'm not just going to leave you guys with nothing. I do have a product recommendation. Of course, this is not sponsored. This is not an ad. I am saying this of my own free will. Nobody is forcing me to say these things. The sheet mask that I think is just so much fun to use. I've only used it a couple of times, but I loved it every single time. It's the Barber Pro Foaming Cleansing Mask. It's a sheet mask, of course, right? So you put it on your face. And then after like 10 minutes, it starts to like bubble on your face. Like, imagine like like when you make a root beer float, once you put the ice cream in, you know how it foams up, but like the foam like stays and it doesn't like dissipate over time. Their bubble's kind of like that. And so you can like touch them and like pat them into like your skin, right? And I don't know, just something about that is just so much fun. I think it's a combination of like skincare and like self-care and beauty, but like it's also messy and it's fun and it's like kind of makes you feel like a kid again. To like, I don't know, the texture of it is just hard to explain. The cheapest that I was able to find it for was like $9. That was without shipping and without like California tax and everything. So it's probably going to be a little bit more than that if you do order it online. I haven't seen it in any like retail stores. I think the only place that you can get it is online. I really like this mask because I find that like trying to find a sheet mask that is specifically for like blackheads, like just it doesn't do anything, right? Most sheet masks just don't do anything. I found that like with like relatively consistent use with the Barber Pro foaming cleansing mask, I find that after frequent use that I noticed that my blackheads were slowly starting to like, they weren't necessarily going away, but I noticed that I wasn't getting them as frequently, right? Because I'm a huge fan of like popping blackheads. That's the episode for another day. It helps with blackheads and it helps a lot with like general like impurities. Like if you just want to feel clean and you just want to feel like refreshed, this is the mask for you. So I have the screenshot of exactly what it says like this mask is for. So I'm going to read this to you. Utilizing advanced charcoal and rich AHA complex created from lime, lemon, apple, orange, and grapefruit, the detoxifying mask is also suitable for acne-prone skin while refining the pores and reducing oil. Suitable for all skin types, this cleansing mask is cut to the shape of the lower half of the face. Listen, when I first heard that, I had not a single clue what that meant. And I'm going to be honest, I still kind of don't. So if you do know, let me know. The instructions for this mask like are pretty simple. They're pretty much what I told you earlier. You take out the mask. You unfold it, put it on your face. For this mask specifically, you only really need it for like 10 minutes, right? And then you can take it off, and then you're good to go. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to the GSMC Beauty Tips podcast. I am your host, Jaden Singh. Make sure if you're listening to us on Apple Podcast, make sure you leave us a 5-star review. Make sure you subscribe and make sure you share with your friends because everybody loves the sound of my voice and your friends probably will too. If you're listening to this on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. GSMC puts out so much content. It's ridiculous. So subscribe, leave us a comment, maybe a thumbs up. Feel free to follow us on Instagram, GSMC_beauty. You can even follow us on Twitter. Same thing, GSMC_beauty. I post content on there so much. So go ahead and interact with me. It's a whole lot of fun. Thank you guys so much for listening. I will see you guys next time.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Beauty Tips Podcast, part of the GSMC Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, or anywhere you find podcasts. Just type in GSMC to find all of our shows from the GSMC Podcast Network, from health and wellness to entertainment and life and happiness to sex and relationships. You can also follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's episode of the Golden State Media Concepts Beauty Tips Podcast.